as we approach the end of the year, it causes one to be introspective, doesn't it? To look back on the year that was. And I'm reminded of when I first started here at the Lotus Eaters. I was given some advice by one of the presenters. I forget which one now, so excuse me for that. But they said to me, Dan, what you should do is when you do a segment, you should include links from authoritative sources because it makes it look a bit more professional. Now, I had a bit of hubris. And my response to that was, no, I don't give a toss what some 22-year-old BBC journalist says. If I say it, it's authoritative, right? So I'm not having any of that. However, that was probably a bit haughty, wasn't it? Now, hubris is one of the 7 sins, isn't it?
Pride, yes.
Yes, there we go.
It was the queen of all vices, and now it's the vice of all queens.
Right. Okay. Don't get the reference, but anyway. So I have been thinking about how can I make up for this. So what I did is I went to the BBC and I tried to find something that I actually genuinely liked there, and by God, did I find it?
Well, I'm not surprised because the headline you've got up at the moment is drugs, girlfriends, and escorts.
So this is a report about you, I assume.
So I found BBC Pidgin. Have you discovered this site yet?
Yes.
Yes,
We're not boomers. We're aware of things.
We've mentioned it a few times. And
Local man discovers BBC Pidgin.
And in fact, I think there's a few articles that you've included here that we've actually spoke about before.
Oh, right. Well, they're going to get a second outing then because this site is absolutely masterful. I've come to because I used to think that the BBC should be closed down. I'm now of the view that everything except BBC Pidgin should be closed down. This should be...
Only first-class Pidgin journalism for Dan. Thank you very much. This is what our tax money should be
this is why the license fee just went up. I'm assuming this segment's in honour of Benjamin Zephaniah recently dying because his poetry reads basically the same.
Right. So anyway, I've got a selection of stories for you. Let's start with this one. So this is a recent story about Hunter Biden entitled "Drugs, Girlfriends, Escorts, Tax Plus Oda Accuse America President's Son Deface." Didn't quite follow that, but anyway.
Me neither.
Well, perhaps we can pick up some context clues from the rest of the article if you've included anything from that.
Well, I'll read you sort of the key extracts from this because it does actually get to the meat and the bones of the issue. So it really sort of.
So this is some genuine hard-hitting journalism.
Yes. Well, no, it is actually. So they report the 56-page charge sheet accuses AMC dodged payments of 1.4 million in taxes from 2016 to 2019, and he fund extravagant lifestyle that the current president's no day accused of wrongdoing, and them no mention him name for the latest indictment.
So the word "they" was a problem, but extravagant wasn't.
Yes.
So what? I'm sorry. Who's the target audience for BBC Pidgin again? Is this intended?
Right.
Is this intended for some kind of politically aware mental hospital?
Oh no! Oh God, no, Harry! Don't say that. No. This. I think that this targets not only West Africa, but Pidgin English is supposed to be for basically anybody who has English as a second language and isn't that good at it and is just sort of making do. So
and makes up words as they go along.
Yes, but basically it's for any multicultural society that has been nested in a sort of English-speaking.
So what I'm learning is multicultural London English as we go along.
Well, what you're basically reading, Harry, is the future.
Or, I know no one can see a dentist these days because of the NHS waiting list, but if you've ever had your tongue numbed, this is how most people sound. So if you ever wanted to narrate articles, I suppose just do all the ketamine that Rory definitely doesn't have stashed under his desk.
Really?
And I said definitely doesn't.
Oh, right,
Don't worry, for legal reasons.
Yes.
And then you'll get paid like John Crow does narrating our wonderful articles on the website.
Yes. Yes, we should do it in Pidgin, shouldn't we? In fact, I'm going to get ChatGPT to translate some of our top articles and repost them. But anyway, let's finish the Hunter Biden. It's got some interesting details I didn't know. The Yale-educated lawyer deface up to 17 years in prison if he dey guilty. I didn't actually know that Hunter Biden was Yale-educated lawyer. I mean, I guess he must have done something before going on these benders. But yeah, turns out
that's where he got all his energy experience.
Turns out
they get straight to the point with Pidgin.
Yes. The indictment shows how Hunter Biden reaped one substantial income, weighed the amount more than Dan 7 million between 2016 and 2020. Dem pay most of the money to one business account he created for him company, Awaska PC, and dem also allegedly channel through one the company Where he name shan't kill us, where he got 75% stake.
You know the joke of they're going to get Ryan Gosling to play Martin Luther King or Black Panther?
I think we should get Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got the appropriate gravitas.
I think I could substitute Ryan Gosling in most things, to be honest.
Dan is Denzel Washington is Hannibal.
Yes.
I would love to see the recreation of the "I Have a Dream" speech with Dan in a dressing gown.
It's traditional dress.
The
They're not
dressing gown.
gowns. Yeah, no, they are. That's you're thinking of the proper traditional dress.
No, I was thinking of like
You're lowering the tone.
You're
again,
smoking
Harry. Come on,
jacket.
this is a serious segment. Right. Hang on. So, So your point about how they sometimes drop into, it's all like really toned down, and then all of a sudden it will get like a bit complicated. So I mean, here's an example of that. Hunter Biden, day for one business relationship with CFC China Energy, one energy group conglomerate.
Again, conglomerates,
Yes.
not a problem, but him is an issue.
Yes. Dem promised to give $1 million from the deal with CFCC, Associate State Energy. Hunter Biden been do business with Chinese equity fund.
It's strange, actually, how you're getting a slightly less filtered version of the narrative from BBC
Yes.
Pidgin. If you look past the borderline wrinkleless brain version of English,
Yeah.
they are being honest about how much money he was taking from foreign corrupt energy firms and maybe
If you
swirling
read
it away to
1984. There's a whole thing in there about how they're trying to lower the complexity of the language to make thought crime illegal. But presumably, it also makes covering up bullshit
actual
harder.
crime. Yeah.
Yes.
Huh.
Because they can't do it with the flowery language. The president's son start the work for Ukrainian private energy company Burisma's Holding Limited with the starting salary of $1 million. Hunter Biden been telling BBC E-Day hire serve on the energy board because Burisma see his name as gold.
Dan,
Yes.
is this entire segment just you reading random news articles in a funny accent?
Yes.
When's
Right.
this article from?
It's BBC Pidgin. Right.
No,
again,
when? When is it from?
Oh, I don't know. This was a recent one. I've got
okay.
I've got some other ones anyway.
So this is breaking news.
Yes. And now I want to get
West
to
Africa,
now I
baby.
want to get to the spicy bit. The indictments say the president's son allegedly spent money on drugs, escorts and girlfriends, luxury cars, hotels, clothing, plus other items of personal nature. In short, everything but the taxes. So again, it's cutting straight to the nub of it. I quite like this.
Well, honestly, I prefer it to that horrible journal writing style
Yes.
that some like The Atlantic like to do, where you
Yes.
start off the article. They don't actually get into anything there. I was sitting around at the local cafe, swirling
autodidactic,
my cappuccino
no,
or something.
I want to be very clear. I'm not mocking this. I genuinely do like it.
Could have fooled me.
Yes, this is my now go-to.
This is on Dan's reading comprehension level, so he's really chuffed.
Payments include $11,500 for one escort, Wade then paid to spend 2 nights with them.
Is
Now,
that
I'm
a-
quite impressed by that.
I was going to say, you'd know. Is that a good rate?
Well, $11,500 for 2 nights. I mean, what did she do in those 2 nights? Because I don't think sticking your rear end in the air for 13 minutes at a time every couple of hours justifies. What was that? Let's say she got there at 7 and left at 11 on the following night.
I wish there was alcohol in
following
this mug.
night, but 1. That's £300 an hour. That's lawyer money. I mean, maybe
Maybe she was giving him legal advice.
Well, it's possible because apparently a lot of girls substitute their university.
Listen, none of the other lawyers can help. Do you know anything about my issue?
Maybe she's at Harvard undergrad paying off her college fees and she wrote his Burisma settlement agreement. Or
Oh, you went to Yale too? Wow.
Hello, I've just filmed a Brokenomics on the economics of dating and marriage with lovely young Connor here. We've been looking at the stats, the possibility of ending up happily married. We've deconstructed the dating market. What else do we do? Oh, dating apps, didn't we?
Yeah, Dan made me his guinea pig, so I had to suffer through Tinder, Hinge and Bumble, and we went through the perverse incentives that these apps have to keep people single and on the apps rather than actually coupled up.
Yeah, so if you would like to watch that, go to lotuseaters.com and watch Brokenomics, the economics of marriage and dating.
One woman Eway got child with amongst these those he hired.
Wait, so he's got a kid with one of them?
Yeah, apparently.
I think, maybe. Don't quote me on that.
Well, he
This
goes
is
on-
BBC Pidgin.
No,
I don't know.
He has a defence, you see. As he day under the influence of crack cocaine addiction, He claim extensive business travel. We no get any. So I think that's saying that he was too out of it, or he was somewhere else. So the kid's not his or something. I'm not sure.
I don't think that's a direct quotation
Right.
from Hunter Biden. I feel like they may have paraphrased that a little bit.
Were you expecting much except blank looks from both of us when you planned this?
Oh no, I'm just going to run on this one. Right. Anyway, so this brings me to the best story that I could find on the site.
This one is one we've mentioned before. Have you not?
Oh, this one is this is a story of true romance. This is I believe, if I can summarize this even further, this is what they call Netflix and chill. So, woman want to throw away poo poo, come trap for window. This is an absolute masterpiece. This is right. Woman way take her hand, pack her poo poo, comment the toilet of man way she day friend because he no grief flush enter troubles after she goes to try to collect the poo poo back. Now this is fantastic, basically. So I'll skim it, but let me just draw out the. Oh yeah,
when you joined, Dan, I thought we were going to get such hard hitting economic analysis.
No, that's coming. No, that is coming as well. No, I just want to do a quick one on this. Right. Instead, make the things land garden. The poo poo come jam between two windows, way day no open wide. The lady decided to carry her thing back. She used her head to enter small space, way the poo poo bin day, but not. So she come up trap for there and trouble starts. Right.
I think your inflections was making.
Now we've even got a photo of the lovely lady.
That doesn't look like a lady.
That's not related to the article.
That's also
here we go. So I think what has happened is that she tried to throw it out the window, but discovered there's like a double window type thing in this student accommodation, and she ended up getting trapped in between the windows with the offending article. Now, this story I didn't see make it onto mainstream media.
I wonder why.
But BBC Pidgin has it, as well as the Hunter Biden stuff. So you can see
a wide swath of all of the culturally and politically relevant material you could ever want.
He's got everything. He's got the finance stuff as well. I'll show you in a minute. Here we go.
He's got this chap, whoever he is.
Yeah, Mr. Smith said, him no get choice but to call fire service and make them help remove the girl along with her poo poo. Right now, where's the story? Oh, here we go. So this is the origin story. Mr. Smith, right? I go one Tinder, wake up the woman, and we end up in the house. Way I share the evening whacker nice. We eat for one popular chicken restaurant, drink beer small, and we end up at my house where we continue to day drink and watch movie, and then presumably the toileting incident happens. Anyway, so I just thought that was good because again that was completely. Are you not into this, Colin?
No, not in the slightest, Dan.
Right. Well, we move on to the next one. I'll just go to the bottom because if you don't like that story, you can go to the section which is another thing we day for in this story, and then you can read one about the sex doll brothel that's just open one day and fully booked. And then this is classic BBC. Idiot. Why Donald Trump face they show when you type idiot for internet. So that's just the BBC. Anyway, right. So now I did promise.
That's the same article.
There we go. Here we go. So this is the fight. So they cover everything. They do finance as well, right? So hang on. Right. So this is pointing out in the first 6 months of 2023, about 1,000 people weighed in Japago, Canada. Don do about turn back the own countries. This, according to news by Reuters. Even though just a fraction of people entered the country, lawyers and immigration consultants. They warn rise fit make the people start to we think Canada no better country go.
You know in Peanuts when Charlie Brown just makes a bunch of that's all I'm hearing.
Or when Kenny's talking in South Park.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
I possibly could have practiced. Right, and
Dan, right. You mentioned ketamine.
Yes.
And I've never taken it myself, but I've been in the presence of a lot of people who've taken it before, right? And there was one time...
No, I'm clean.
There was one time I was in a back garden party with somebody who had gotten so high on ketamine that it was incredible. He was speaking in full sentences and was enunciating the words properly, but all of the words in the sentence had been jumbled up. So he would say, hello, how are you? And all of the words would be out of order with one
Right.
another. And I'm really getting that feeling from watching this right now.
No, this is a
I'm-
direct, this is a direct.
it's a familiar feeling. I've not seen it in a long time.
Direct quotation. I'm even going to give. So this is the sort of story that we've been covering lately. Who they allowed to come live for UK? Right. So this is a story about.
This is an immigration.
Yes.
So BBC Pidgin have been watching Lotus Eaters.
Quite possibly. So hang on. So they got all the relevant stats as well. And again, they really do. So I am serious. I like this website because they just cut to the meat and potatoes of it. Dem say for the year way end June 2023, now 1.2 million people been come UK. Way de far higher than we be thinking. I mean, they just get to the nub of it, don't they? Majority of the people way come UK from countries outside the Europe. The latest figures say 1 million been come from non-EU countries. The top 5 non-EU nationalities, right? And then it's got a little table. Let's see if we can find the little table.
Why did I get out of bed this morning?
There we go. So this is basically it's pointing out, and there's 141,000 Nigerians apparently amongst the 1.2 million who came here last year, and I think from what I've read on the BBC that this is one of the prime audiences,
right? Okay.
For BBC Pidgin.
So you're ingratiating yourself with the culture of your future,
with our new neighbours. Yes,
right.
just
understood.
Just saying, look, we've got this fantastic resource here on the BBC. Make the most of it.
And there I was worried you'd phoned this segment in.
No. I can honestly say I did not wake up from the office party last night without a segment and just wing it. Right. So, quick call back to this. Rest in peace, Britain. This is an old Daily Mail article, so actually this is underselling it. So basically, an Oxford professor and demographic type chap has basically figured out that the white British are going to be a minority in their own country by the late 2050s.
It's not just that. It's not
this felt much more jovial when you were speaking Pidgin to me.
It's not just white British. It's that, and we've got an interview coming out with the authors of the ARC report soon. But Paul Morland and Philip Pilkington ran the numbers, and they found out that we're actually going to be 54% first generation immigrant by 2083. So it's not just that there's like white British is gone. It's going to be that people showed up yesterday are going to be the majority.
Well, yes, and I worked it through using his numbers, which are probably a bit old because this is an article from 2016 when he did his research, and of course, immigration has shot up since then. But if his study at the time was correct, a child born today, by the time they hit their 32nd birthday, they're going to be a minority in Britain.
Right.
By the time they turn 32. So Labour opened the floodgates, and then the Tories, added pressure jets to that. Reform, I don't think, are particularly serious. I mean, they threw me out the party because I advocated for deportations.
Did they actually?
Yes.
You didn't tell us about that.
Oh, I mentioned it. I think I'd mentioned it. But no, anyway, so they came to me and said, would you like to be a candidate? I was like, yeah, right then. And then eventually they read my tweets and they found out that I was pro-deportation for foreign criminals. And they threw me out the party.
They said that's not part of our plank.
Yes,
Thank you
right.
very much.
Yes. So
they didn't have a focus group for it beforehand, therefore.
Are you sure it's
quite
not
possibly
because you started posting all of your tweets in Pidgin?
No, I've only just discovered this. This is my new favorite. So basically, there's nothing that you can do to stop this transformation. It's one of those things. You're not being replaced. Well, you are, but it's a good thing. So anyway, my advice from all of this is cancel those Mandarin lessons that you're planning to get the kids and teach them BBC Pidgin instead. Because
you're already paying for it anyway.
Well, because by the 2050s, it's going to have to be this, isn't it? Because
at least you'll get a higher quality of journalism from the BBC.
Yeah, but I think by 2050s, you can realistically expect, all the sort of street signs, all the sort of posters, the instruction manuals to be in Pidgin. Because of course, if you've got a mixture from everywhere in the world, I mean, it makes sense, mightn't it? So I think this is the future. I've discovered the future. Right now, before I end off, I will mention the merch store. I'm going to do a quick plug for this. Go to the merch store. You can buy stuff. Here's a quote from Wellington that says, being born in a stable does not make one a horse.
But it can make one a pigeon.
Yes. Well, interpret what Arthur Wellesley is saying and apply it however you wish. I draw no comments on that.
If you appreciated that episode from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that is on the site, such as the Brokenomics series, this episode on What is an Economy Even For? If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.